No, this is something where they got to have proven results now. When you give him that guy, and that's really the only thing that they improved really in that on the opposite side of the ball was bringing in AJ Brown. It still to me completes what they needed to help Jalen out. Jalen needed a guy that he could have a huge catch radius and a forgiving catch radius, more so forgiving catch radius than anything, that can rely on to throw the ball to him, and he can consistently either block guys out or just go strong arm and catch it from smaller DBs or anybody. And when you have that, now it puts you in a position where it opens up the rest of the field.
I was doing a show with Barrett Brooks, and, it was just two old football guys banging stuff off each other, having fun times and all this and that. And now he's with two media guys, man. I don't know, man. I watch him like every day, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Let me bring my guy Barrett Brooks in here now, man.
What's up, dog? What's up?
Hey, man. I got to tell you, and by the way, I love D Gun. I love Ellis, man. But I sit there and I go, man, my boy's being nice because he has to.
Well, look, those guys still got to go in the locker room, man. So
yeah, that's right. Because see, Barry could just walk in the locker room. They're like, hey, man, there's part of the family right here, man. These other guys got to work their way in. And so Barrett doesn't have to do that. Hey, by the way, the show's great, man. You guys are doing a great job.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. But I miss you, bro. I miss you.
Oh,
man.
Me too, man. I miss kicking it around with you here. And I want to throw this at you right off the gate because I just threw this topic out to these guys. I was looking, on everything that Howie has done this offseason. Two of the top 10 offensive tackles are on the Philadelphia Eagles and Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. You have the fifth best tight end potentially in the NFL. You have $100 million wide receiver. You got a guy 2 years ago you spent a first-round draft choice on. This football team gets out to a 2-5 start. Do they give Jalen the entire year to fail or succeed? Or do they look at this and go, okay, I've seen enough at the bye and we know what's going on here? Or do you think they give him the entire year to run through the tape?
No, this is something where they got to have proven results now. When you give him that guy, and that's really the only thing that they improved really in that on the opposite side of the ball was bringing in AJ Brown. It still to me completes what they needed to help Jalen out. Jalen needed a guy that he could have a huge catch radius and a forgiving catch radius, more so forgiving catch radius than anything, that he can rely on to throw the ball to him, and he can consistently either block guys out or just go strong arm and catch it from smaller DBs or anybody. And when you have that, now it puts you in a position where it opens up the rest of the field. Now, it's a lot easier to read coverage when you have a double team on AJ, and then you have one-on-one on the backside with Smitty or Goddard running around in the middle of that field, because you can then know that you're going to have single coverage because they can only double team one guy, really, as a defense.
But Barrett, let me ask you this here, though. I mean, so you're expecting he's averaged 60 in 3 years in Tennessee. He's averaged 68 catches, 998 yards a year, and 8 touchdowns. We're under the assumption that is going to improve under Jalen. I don't think Jalen's the passer that Tannehill is, and I'm not suggesting that Tannehill is a leader or anything, but we're still got to work. How you expect his numbers to go up?
I think so. I put out there at least 38 to maybe 3,900 yards passing. I know his touchdowns, will go up dramatically also. Just by, the results that I've seen with his improvement as a player, number one. But number two, he's going to be in the same offense for more than just 1 year. And then number three, you have a healthy running game in which, and I'm going to tell you this, take that run pass option out of there. Don't run pass option him. If you're going to do anything, look at what Dallas did with Dak Prescott to open up the offense. Run the ball because you can run a ball that offensive line, and use play action to push the ball down the field. When you use play action, it's not just to fool the defense. 9 times out of 10 it doesn't fool the defense. But what it does do is give you a solid offense. What I mean by solid is you keep a tight end in, you keep a backside running back in, you have more blockers, and it's more of a solid protection as opposed to, and the offensive line is more aggressive. So it kind of opens up everything as far as, what you need is a quarterback. You have the protection because if they blitz, you still got people in to stop the blitz. But then you can see the route combinations open up because there's only 2 routes out there. So it lends that you don't have to read anything. You know where you're going to go with the ball. So do that instead of running this RPOs. You don't want to get this kid killed unless it's a running play in which it's designed for him to run. Take them RPOs out, man. They don't work. Finally, defense in the NFL have caught up on how to stop RPOs, man. Defensive coordinators know how to stop it, so why even, do it anymore? I mean, it's all for naught.
You think that Devontae's numbers go up too?
I think they stay around where he is, about 900 yards. I do. I mean, because he's going to have a lot of one-on-one. A lot of one-on-one action.
With the number 2 corner.
Exactly. I mean, so even, I'll take Smitty getting open and getting separation with a number 2 corner all day. He was the number 1 and still had 900 yards.
Yeah.
Now he's in a position where he's going to be one-on-one with a guy, and that's a second tier guy as opposed to drawing the starting cornerback. So I mean, I just see things in, and I know I see things through rose-colored glasses, but I mean, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. You know what I'm saying? And it should equal 4, and my 4 is equal to Jalen Hurts going out there and playing, and drastically improving from what he did last year. Now I was reading the comments and everything, and they're saying, well, Gardner Minshew has a better arm. Well, better, stronger arm does not always equate to a better quarterback. Ryan Leaf had the strongest arm I've ever seen in my life and couldn't throw through anything. He couldn't throw anything. Then I got to see guys with like Drew Brees with noodle arms who could throw and run an offense just as good as anything. Tom Brady does not have a strong arm. Yeah, Peyton Manning, exactly. Right? So it doesn't matter how strong your arm is, or how you process the information that's given to you. And I think that Sirianni and the offensive coordinator, I can see them not necessarily dumbing it down, but when you put your quarterback in a better position on calling plays that better suit his skill set, it makes for a better offensive output because of that.
Do you agree that the 3 biggest question marks going into the 2022 season for the Eagles is head coach, DC, and the play of Jalen? Those 3 things, because they're all tentacled together and they're all strung together. Those 3 things, do you agree?
Because they gave him everything that they wanted. They gave the head coach another target. They gave Gannon the defense to run these multiple fronts. And Hurts, they made him a better player just by bringing in a better receiver. So now, Goddard gets a full year as opposed to having half a year when Hurts was there. You look at Gannon. Gannon can now run that 50 front that he's been wanting to run. He wants to cover that center and both guards up with those 3 big guys. Now you got Davis and those 2 other guys, Cox and I forget his name.
Hargrave.
Hargrave over the center and the 2 guards. Now on the outside, you got Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick, or however you want to use on the outside. As an offense, when you call plays, you have to call plays according to what you have in front of you. And when you have those type of defenses, a 50 front like that, you got to block it man. Because if you slide the protection, either way, you slide it away from Brandon Graham. That means you're going to have Brandon Graham against a tight end or a running back. Or if you slide it away from Brandon Graham, that means you have Hassan Reddick one-on-one against a tight end or a running back. I mean, the numbers just dictate that you have to block those guys up front in the middle with big guys, offensive linemen. So that means the tackles have to block those guys on the outside with Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick. The 2 guards have to block Hargraves and Cox, and the center has to block Davis. You can't have those guys on smaller blockers. They'll eat all day with that. So, I mean, that's why you run those type of fronts. You have to create. And plus, the biggest Achilles heel to this defense that Gannon had to really fix is first down. Yeah. They was by far the worst first down team defense in the league. They were it's easy to call plays when it's 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, as opposed to it being, 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 9, because they just ran the ball on them, get 6 yards, and now they got a 2nd and 4. I mean, that your playbook is like this, as opposed to if it's 2nd and 10, now it's down like this. So I mean, just by the nature of the position that they put him in and bringing in guys that could run the defenses he wants to run, he better have some results. Gannon better step up.
I'll say this to you too, that defense, this is why I'm high on the Eagles this year. And I'll tell you, it's not so much because of what they did, Barrett, on the offensive side. It's the personnel settings and groupings that they can throw at you with the multiple fronts, 43, like you said, wide 5, whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
You're going to be able to do this. And maybe, the impact that we see Jordan Davis have this year, he had 9 sacks in 43 games when he played at Georgia. However, the thing that you just mentioned to me is critical, because if they're effective on 1st and 2nd down, those quarterbacks are not going to go into the link with 90% completion percentage, 73, because they're going to constantly be in 3rd and long.
Exactly.
So his impact, Barrett, may not be getting to the quarterback. It may be keeping the opposing teams in 3rd and long. And if we're trying to change that offense into a passing offense, we're going to see a lot of 3 and outs at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
They've got to get that offense off the field of the opposing team. That's why I'm high. Am I right on when I'm saying this?
You're absolutely right on, because there's not a lot of guys that can go out and stop the run from a 3 technique or 1 technique consistently without great linebacker play. And they did get some good linebackers. But imagine, it's not like you got you and Jerome stopping the run. You guys could stop the run by yourselves. You guys didn't need linebackers behind you. These guys need linebackers. Last year, all they did was double team Hargraves and Fletcher Cox, and those linebackers played so far back that they, by the time they did come up to make the play, they're already 6 yards down the field. You know what I'm saying? So they've gained 6 yards simply because the linebackers didn't go up. They didn't have those type of boss defensive tackles that I thought that could stop the run by themselves. Well, now you have some guys in there that you have to block one-on-one with the addition of Davis on the center. They got to block him one-on-one. So that means, okay, then pick your poison now. Who are you gonna block? Who are you gonna slide the protection to? Who are you gonna block these outside guys with? And I think they have enough on the outside now to generate pressure on them.
I definitely do. A couple last questions for you here, Barrett. Let me say this to you too. And please tell me if I sound like old man get off my lawn stuff here, okay? Because man, when I hear the lack of practice time and look, hey Barrett, OTAs, I kind of get it, helmets and shorts and okay, but it's becoming.
They didn't have helmets on; they had hats on. Hats on.
How are you going to get Jalen Hurts better with limited? This is what Phil Simms called it on our show. He called it on our show. When you play in exhibition football games, those are quality reps. When you play in the controlled scrimmages, they're not as quality reps as they are in the game. Now, look, I get it. It's exhibition football, but those are more quality reps. When you're not putting your first team out there and your quarterback and your group settings and you're in that controlled scrimmage and you're not practicing a lot, is that a concern in starting out like they did a year ago, Barrett, they want to be healthy. I totally understand that. They want to be healthy. They were healthy a year ago, but I went like this. You weren't healthy in 2017. You won the Super Bowl. You were healthy last year, and you got destroyed by the Bucs in the opening round. Where do you fall on this?
How do you run an NT stunt, a nose tackle, and you don't know how your guy's going to set him up on the inside? I mean, is he going to flash like this, and then you use a nose come and knock the center off, and then you go around? It's going to be those guys, since they don't have the practice time to do that, they're just going to bump into each other because they haven't had those reps. I'm sitting here at left tackle, and I got an MBB stunt on. They got an MBB stunt on defense, and I'm looking at my guard. The guard sets, and instead of him, seeing that linebacker go out, instead he just watched the linebacker go out. Instead of setting and then going out and hitting that end that's crashing down, hitting him in the mouth, so you keep that separation, and then giving me and knocking me off to get the linebacker coming around. You only get that from playing the guy next to you and having those reps and having your body feel that sort of play. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily, you can't just watch it on film. You have to have your body get muscle memory of doing that type of scheme.
But Barrett, it's also communication too.
Exactly. Yep.
Like when Jerome would go like this, I'm going to tilt the center over here this way so that you can grab him on the backside here. And when you're doing, I'm going to tilt
Fans, that's called cheating because that's called cheating.
Just
he's not supposed to
talking,
do
right,
that.
Barrett? That's talking through practice that you can't do on the chalkboard.
I was about to say people in the string. Yeah, that's called cheating because you heard what he said. You're gonna grab that tackle. See, you wrong for that. See, but yeah, you're absolutely right because he's telling you, all right, or he'll say, all right, hey, I'm gonna go. So back me up. I'm gonna go right here. Now you know that you can't go because he's going. Now you can come and like double in where he was.
Hold on for a second. I want to tell you what Barrett would do. Hey, I'm gonna set him up high, low him, get his ass. Hey, this guy does that shit again. I'm gonna leg whip his ass. I'm gonna go up high. You come down in there. Don't be throwing that at me there.
See, but that's communication. With you were comfortable with telling your guy, this is what I'm about to do, so you guys could execute it. How are they going to get that sense? I mean, even the secondary, Bradbury and those guys hadn't played together before. Taft hadn't played with these guys before. How are you going to get the full speed reps of watching these route combinations coming off the ball, and you as the corner, you and Slay getting that down? Bradbury, Slay, Tart, all those guys have to work together. Epps, they haven't played together before. That's a whole new different secondary than they had before. So how are you going to get that chemistry between those guys if you don't get the reps together? It's going to be tough, man.
It is, man. Hey, finally here. Did you play against Goose?
I did. That was my dude too, man. In fact, I was just telling those guys, the first time I ever went to a charity golf tournament was at Sarah Goose's golf tournament. And needless to say, stuff that I saw there, I shouldn't have saw it. In fact, whatever happened on the ninth green, stayed in that green.
Those pit guys are messed up, man.
Oh man, and it was in Atlantic City, and this is my foursome. It was the foursome in front of us. They had Jordan and Charles, and I'm with Rodney Pete, and we ended up going into that group up there. And I tell you what, I was in charge of just driving the cart and serving the liquor and the cigars to them, and that was probably the best time ever. The best time I ever had on a golf tournament, man.
Hey, Barrett, I was at a golf outing with Goose and a bunch of his boys like Fralick and them guys up at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All I'll tell you is I woke up, my pants were down by my waist, and I had no idea what house I was in, and I had no idea how I got there, and I had no idea why my pants were down to my ankles. And I got up, and I was so afraid. And I was by myself.
See, and like I said, what happened on the ninth green stayed on the ninth green. So just put it like that, man.
Absolutely. Hey, man, just do me a favor. That D Gun, man, he gives you a lot of stuff about, Hey, Barrett's got Barrett time. Okay, it's called Barrett time, man. I love you and your mom and bro. I tell you what, thank you for the message on Father's Day. You are one of my truly good friends now. I'm so proud to be your boy, man. I mean, thank you so much, man. It means a lot to me.
Oh, man, you my dog, man. Call me anytime, bro, all right?
You got me too, man. Anytime you need. Thank you, Barrett. That's my boy, Barrett Brooks, man. Love talking with him. We have a fun time each and every single time. Do me a favor. Go to my friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. If you're hurt or injured on the job, understand that this is the one law firm that you will need to go to battle for you because they're the biggest law firm in the country. For the people is not a slogan. It's not some gimmick that they have. This is what they are. This is who they've been for 30 years plus, collecting over $13.5 billion worth of compensation for their clients. 800 attorneys strong. That's an army of attorneys in offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida. Nobody's bigger than Morgan & Morgan. And there's no such thing, by the way, as a fender bender. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation is free. 800-512-1600. Listen, 24/7, 7 days a week, Morgan & Morgan is open. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.